Alright, we're going to start taking a look at our Excel final for sheet 1. So if you guys can go to Schoology, that's where you're going to find all of your directions for this assignment. So you have written out directions, and then you have a couple of pictures of what they should look like when you're done as well. So if you look at the written directions, they're pretty lengthy and they might look a little intimidating from this standpoint. So what I would actually do is go into the pictures for each one. So I'm going to pull up what the end result for sheet number 1 should look like. So it should look something like this. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is find a car that you want to work with. So you can have a little bit of fun with this if you want to, but you don't have to spend a whole lot of time doing this either. So I'd go to Google and I'd type in a car that I'm interested in, like let's see, the 2020 Corvette, and then we really just need the price. So the easiest way to get that is by typing in MSRP, which stands for Manufacturer Suggested Retail Price. So if I click on that and it actually pops up while I'm typing the search, the MSRP for the new Corvette is going to be $58,900. So what I recommend is looking at the setup for the picture example and then making your Excel document look as close as you can to that before you actually go into looking at the directions. So you can kind of work back and forth between them. So what I'm actually going to do is try to split screen here. Maybe not. Let's try it with Excel up first. There you go. And I'm going to try to make this look as close as I can, and then I'll go back to the directions and check for the formatting. So on my Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to start off by clicking in cell A2, and I'm going to type in make. So that is going to be like the company, and then below that is the model. So the model of the car. And I'm just going to finish doing my headers here. So I'm going to do MSRP, tax, titles and fees, and finally total cost. Alright. Then I'm going to go across the top. So in row 1, I'm going to type in vehicle 1. And vehicle 2. And vehicle 3. Alright, so now that I kind of got this generally set up, I don't really need it split screen anymore. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I see what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to, make things a little bit wider so I can read everything by clicking on the row and then just dragging those bars out. And then I'm going to go through and fill out the information for my first car. So the make for my Corvette is going to be Chevrolet. I spelled that wrong, but it fixed it. And then my model is going to be Corvette. The MSRP is going to be that initial price that I found. So it's going to be the $58,900. My tax. So the last 3 here I'm going to calculate for. So that would be where you would probably want to look at the directions. Okay. So if I go back to Schoology and I'm going to open up the directions, and just like before, I'll probably make this a PDF and re-upload this, because if you go to, so don't really pay attention to these steps, but I'm going to open it up as a PDF real quick, or I'll save it for a PDF for you guys because I forgot to do that. So just give me a second here. Okay, so when you guys look at yours, you're going to see these formulas that I highlighted. So you can't see that on Schoology unless it's PDF. So I'll fix that for you. But anyway, you can see the formulas that we're going to have to use. So it says create formulas to calculate the tax, which is going to be 6% of the MSRP, titles and fees, which is 1% of the MSRP, and then total cost. Okay, so what that means is that we are going to write formulas, so then we don't have to type this over and over and over again. So for the tax, if we remember, it's going to be equal to, so I'm using a formula. I'm going to click in is equal to, and then I'm going to click on the cell that has my MSRP in it, and you can see that it highlights it. I'm going to hold down Shift and then press the number 8 to get the asterisk, which is the little star above the number 8. And then I'm going to multiply that by 6%. Okay, and I press Enter, boom, and it will give me my number. So we'll fix the formatting here in a second. And then finally, well, not finally, we got titles and fees as well. So that's going to be equal to MSRP again. So I'm going to click MSRP, multiply, so Shift, then 8, 1%. So we're going to do times 1%, press equal, I get 589, and then we need our total cost. So before we looked at formulas, we have a formula that can do that for us. So we could type in equals, and if you said, hey, we're going to use a sum here, you'd be correct. I'd start typing in the word sum. I can click on that, and then I'm going to click on the range that I want to use. So I'm going to click on my first number, and I'm going to scroll. I'm going to use the little handle here, that little circle dot, and I'm going to click and drag down, and it's going to give me a range, and I can press Enter. So I get my total. Now the last thing that I want to do is make these into the correct format. So I'm going to select these cells in the middle. So I'm clicking, and then I'm going to grab the little handle in the bottom right hand corner to select those cells, and then I'm going to change the format. So I'm going to click on the format button here, and never mind. I'm going to click on the one that says ABC123 here in the middle, and I'm going to change that to currency. And you can see that I have my MSRP, the tax on that, the titles and fees, and then the total cost. Okay. Now, since we're using Excel, we can use it makes the rest of our job a little bit easier. So you want to look up the remainder of your cars. So I'm just going to make some stuff up here, but you can research it. So I do like a Ford Mustang, and maybe a, I don't know, Jeep Wrangler or something. All right, and then I'm going to copy, I would put in the prices, so I'm just going to make up numbers here, but you can look them up. And how about, okay, now since I set up formulas for these other cells down here, I can use the fill handle to fill the rest of these out, so I don't have to retype those formulas. So when I select the boxes that I need, so I'm using the selection, I'm going to use the little handle down here in the bottom right to select. See how it gives me an option to fill here? I'm going to click fill and then drag to the right. And you can see that it automatically fills those in for me, so I didn't have to calculate them. Alright, so once you get to this part, this is where you would want to go back into those directions and fix all the formatting. But that's just a brief overview for how you would set up sheet number 1.